They just made up this horrible quote. They're suckers and losers, and they're in graves. They gave their life for our country.
There's been multiple times where the media has misconstrued some of the things that you say about veterans, the latest being you calling wounded veterans that have been shot or wounded suckers and losers.
A made-up story. It was made up by a magazine. I think it was The Atlantic, which is a radical left magazine. As soon as I heard it, I said, that's a terrible thing. And you don't get rid of it. You know, they make these things and they just use it and use it. The opposing side, they know it's false. I had 26 people that said it never happened. Who would say it? Nobody would say it. A stupid person or a person that's mentally ill. I rebuilt our military. We gave 86 billion, 85 billion of it away to Afghanistan so stupidly, but far bigger than even that. I rebuilt our military. I had the best relationship with the military of any president. They don't even have sources. They make things up out of thin blue like a storyteller. And I wanted you to ask me this question.
Since we're on a long-form podcast and we're not going to take anything out of context here, is there anything that you would like the veteran population to know about what you think of them?
That I love them, that I respect them, that I rebuilt our military, that I got budgets that nobody's ever gotten, that I increased their pay because of the respect I have. Now, if you take a look at what's happening with the military, it's horrible. Under Biden / this woman is a communist, I guess. I mean, and I look at action. I don't look at words. Defund the police. She was the head of defund the police. Now all of a sudden she wants to deny it. I took a lot of heat from the press for that. We spend far more than we should be spending on NATO. These other countries, which many of them are very rich, they don't spend. Before I got there, I say we were paying 90% of the cost of NATO. I hate to use this word because you have some young, brilliant future soldiers watching. They screw us on trade. So they screw us on trade, and we're defending them. It's always a one-way street. You know, when I came in, we had such bad trade deals with South Korea, with Japan, China. I made a great trade deal with China. They have to buy $50 billion a year of our product. I had a great relationship with President Xi, and I will again.
I read that Elon Musk said that he would accept a position in your cabinet. Would that have to do with artificial intelligence?
So
if
Elon
you chose
and I
him?
have a great relationship. He's great. He is a totally unusual character. Do you know Elon at all?
I don't.
He's great. And he's smart. We have to cherish our geniuses. You know, we don't have too many of them, right? But he is a brilliant guy. What he really would like to do is get involved in cutting some of the fat. And he does know how to do it. He loves the country. You know, it's just an amazing thing. We had a conversation the other day, the biggest audience that there's ever been. I mean, would you say that's a correct statement?
I would absolutely say
There's
that's
never been
correct.
anything even close. I heard 750 million people. I put him in the cabinet, absolutely, but I don't know how he could do that with all the things he's got going. As the expression goes, consult with the country. Like on AI, there's nobody knows more about it than Elon.
Everything I read says that one of the biggest challenges in the upcoming election is going to be the women vote. I think a lot of people think that is because of the rhetoric that they're saying about your stance on abortion. So I'd like to get your stance on abortion, unfiltered, unedited.
So you have Roe v. Wade. For 52 years, it was in the federal government. Democrat, Republican, everybody, nobody wanted it there. There wasn't discussions about 16 weeks and all the different discussions you hear. It had to be out. It had to be a state's thing. I'm for exceptions. Ronald Reagan was for exceptions, for the life of the mother, rape and incest. I was able to do something that nobody thought was possible, get it back to the states. And the states now have it. As far as women are concerned, I think they like me. You know why they like me? Because I'm going to give them safety and security. November 5th will be the most important day, in my opinion, in the history of our country. Because if our country goes the wrong way with this election, I think this country is doomed.
What do you think your biggest challenge is with being elected?
Well, they've weaponized government. They've tried that one, and that drove me up. They're vicious people. These are vicious people. You know, I could have done that to Hillary Clinton. What she did was so bad. She got a subpoena from the United States Congress, and she destroyed everything. You go to jail for that for years. And if you did it as a private person, you go to jail. But she destroyed everything. And I said, wouldn't it be terrible to have the wife of the president of the United States, a former president of the United States, being put in prison? And I meant that. I think it would be terrible. I could have pushed that very easily, and I did sort of the opposite. And now they come after me. I say, oh, isn't that nice? These are vicious people. They're vicious people. But they're not talented people other than in that way. They're very talented on cheating in elections. They're very talented on, I say, crime. I mean, really crime.
Let's talk about the assassination attempt on your life. It was another one I saw today.
It wasn't quite the same thing. That wasn't a bullet going at 4,000 miles an hour at you.
There's a lot of speculation about this, but if you look at context, the media has been against you. Then there was Russiagate. Then there was the impeachment. Then they kicked you off all of your social media platforms. They prosecuted you. And the latest was there was an assassination attempt.
I wish I had it. I have the graph, my all-time favorite graph, because it's when I turned over. When I turned over to say, let me see the graph, I turned over. This was a graph on immigration. But when I made that right turn, the bullet came and phew, and it whacked my ear. It was only my ear. It was a bloody mess, They told me at the hospital, I said, why so much blood? They say when the ear gets hit, it's the bloodiest part of the body. I didn't know that. Because of cartilage. The doctor gave me a little lesson in medicine, which I don't know if I wanted a lesson at that particular time. But if I didn't turn to the right, I wouldn't be here. I just wanted to have a deal with Iran. Very simple deal. Can't have a nuclear weapon. That's it. I want them to be happy. I want them to have great lives. I want them to have a great country. Can't have a nuclear weapon. Very simple. And I would have had that deal done within a week after the election, but the election was a disgrace to our country, another disgrace. We have so many advantages, but we're not going to have the advantages long if we don't get smart, because our country's going bad, and now we have really stupid people running our country.
Can you
Biden
talk
is a
about
stupid person.
What are
he was
some of
stupid
those
25
advantages?
years ago, by the way. What? He's the worst president in the history of our country, in my opinion. It was a coup. It was an overthrow of a president. There's never been anything like that. That doesn't mean he's good or he's competent, but he did win. And then they said, we don't want you. We had a debate. And after the debate, he was 17 points down in polls. And they went to him and they said, you're not going to win. You can't win. We want to get somebody else. And he didn't want to go, and he fought it. And then they said, I think they were going to pull out the 25th Amendment, which is mental acuity. Now they're trying to act like it was a friendly. It wasn't friendly. He's a bitter man right now. What happened to him? You go through primaries, you win. I mean, he won against 22 people. Now, I think he got very lucky, but it doesn't matter. He won. Think of it. He got 14 million votes. She got none. She never made it to the first contest, which is Iowa. And now she's running. This country's not ready for a Marxist or a communist. This country's not ready for somebody that wants to defund the police. That said, there will never be fracking in our country. If we don't frack, if we don't drill for oil and gas, we won't have a country.